What's good? I'm Jesse. You're listening to The Epoch of Incredulity, Episode 123, Season 4, recorded November 6th, 2023, featuring commentary from Conrad Scott, Joe, and myself. We discuss municipal elections, some of the most egregious tactics being deployed against Palestinians, attempts by the state and press to defend the indefensible, nations unwilling to endorse or engage in diplomacy with Israel, Zelensky getting desperate, Democrats getting cold feet, another sweep devastates Boston's unhoused, while the House of Cards finally collapses atop Wework and Bankman-Fried, and the slams this week are cerebral, dare I say, cranial. Please do us a favor, share this content, do us a favor, enjoy our epoch.
Eliyahu told Israel's Kol Barama radio that he was not entirely satisfied with the scale of Israel's retaliation. And when the interviewer asked whether he advocated dropping some kind of atomic bomb on Gaza to kill everyone, Eliyahu replied, "That's one option."
Let's just start the episode and see what happens.
Start the episode.
Yeah, we got no plan.
Do it.
We got no plan.
Do it.
Stop. God, it's freaking me out.
Do it.
All right. If anything, we do this for Joe's entertainment. It's nice to hear you laugh. It's election night. We didn't have an episode last week because it was Halloween, and that's a sacred day.
It's not.
It is. It is. Fuck you.
It's not why we didn't.
Not. I was super tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. We no, but
all right, fine.
I was offering us
for the
cover,
Lord.
but
Okay,
fine,
for the Lord. For the Lord.
It's not for the Lord. It's for the Dark Lord.
No,
Anyways,
for the lore, for like the
for the
fucking,
lore.
for like the canon. The
Yeah, the
Epoch
canon. Canon.
It's a good start.
There's no results in for the municipal election 2023.
Everybody sucks.
Everybody sucks. That's the other thing. Yeah, we don't really care because it's gonna it's like.
Well, it's not that I don't care entirely. It's just like without Kendra Lara on the ticket, like there's no
point.
There's no socialist representation, but it's also like nobody even made an attempt to enter into the at-large category, except for two very reactionary people, and then that guy.
That guy. On the printed ballot, that guy.
He had like $56 on hand for campaign funding.
What?
Yeah. What was it? Clifton Braithwaite?
Breathweight.
I don't even remember. I voted for him though.
Oh, Clifford A. Braithwaite.
No,
yeah.
I think it's Clifton, isn't it?
Oh, Clifton. Yeah, it is. Oh, I read that wrong. I'm an idiot.
I voted for him, and then the two kind of default would be Julia Mejia and Ruth C. And then Free Palestine was my fourth. That was my write-in. And then for district, which I'm going to bleep out and post because that's where I live, I wrote in more trains.
Yeah, I understand.
I remembered and then just couldn't be bothered.
Yeah. Doesn't really affect you up there in Lowell.
No, I mean, just in general, because what? Okay, there's like one old white guy who's like running uncontested. He's going to suck. He's going to continue to suck.
He is going to suck.
I have one vote. Exactly.
You're not going to, yeah. Yeah, no, if you listen to Bostopia News, it's like Evan said, like...
I want to get him on the podcast. I keep forgetting.
Michelle will get her more conservative city council to play power struggle with, and nothing will get done in the city. Per usual. Yay. The Green Line, half of it's broken again. Yay. This is great.
To be fair, most of it was broken because they did a bad job of building it.
Yeah, that's my point.
They built it wrong.
It's not that it's breaking down because, like, of
we read the instruction
neglect.
manual wrong. It's like an IKEA thing.
It's not that it's breaking down because they haven't like fucking looked at the track in 40 years. It's breaking down because like they fucking built the track wrong, which is like what the fuck. Anyways, it's like the most. Anyways, we're supposed to like Boston is supposed to be a major city, yes. Like, and then this happens. So I don't know.
Are we a real city? Are we?
We have really old infrastructure.
Yeah, we
Our
do.
pipes are very old. Our public transit is very old.
Everything is really, really old.
The fucking ideology of the people who run the state is very old. Like, yeah. We have no fucking... The train stopped running at 1, for God's sakes. Anyways, and now that we've buttered you up, we're gonna get into the really nasty bullshit of the continuing genocide and horrific war crimes and human rights atrocities that are being committed by the Israeli government against the Palestinian people. Wherever you guys want to take that go, there's a number of things you guys want to talk about.
I mean, at this point, it's pretty obvious that international law is like a choose-your-own-adventure kind of shit, in the sense that, like, you get to choose whom and what it actually is applicable to. Like,
and to what degree, yeah.
if a white, well, not specifically all white people, because if a Russian does something, even if it's not actually like what is considered by the Geneva Convention to be a war crime, it is a war crime. But if Israel, I don't know, like bomb 4 refugee camps and 5 hospitals, like they did, oh wait a minute, all of yesterday, that was yesterday and Sunday, they bombed 4 hospitals, including a pediatric oncology ward, and they hit 3 refugee camps, of which 2 of them they had already bombed twice in the past week, and that was just the past 48 hours. That is a shrug, well, things just happen.
Yeah.
No, they there's a justification for that, being that the refugees are ostensibly human shields, Joe.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, right. Yeah, right. Sorry. They are sheeps without agency. I forgot. I forgot. That's what our State Department keeps telling us.
There's no civilians in Gaza. Didn't you know this?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
it's all terrorists. It's all...
They're not actually sheeps without agency. No.
They're all terrorists.
Yeah.
Working for, as my grandpa keeps pronouncing it, Hummus.
Hummus, yeah. It's delicious.
They're volunteering as shields.
It's too much red pepper in this one.
Honestly, I can't tell when he's trying to say it. It sounds like he's either saying ham ass or hummus. Not Hamas. Hummus or ham ass.
Well, I support Hamas, but I also support ham ass.
Oh my god. Okay, something I was thinking about was last time we talked about this, Joe, you said the amount of Israeli hostages was like 100, and I said it was 1,000. 1,000 was the actual like death toll of the attack on 10/7, and I conflated the two. It was about 240 is how many.
Of which the United Nations estimates that Israel has already killed 60 of them.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly. Like they've already killed a third of them. So it's like, wasn't that the point, guys, to free the hostages, and you've killed 60 of them?
I keep seeing like the talking point of like, what if like someone like kidnapped your mom? What? So the logic is we have to blow up your mom and everyone else? This doesn't seem very conducive to, getting your mom back.
Well, your mom shouldn't have been a human shield.
Yes. Your mom became a terrorist when she walked into the area.
That one's on her.
The second one of the Hamas people touched her, she became a terrorist, is how it works.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we are talking about a country that they have, like, the race laws of 1940s, like, Alabama. They actually have, like, apparently an activist group whose, like, sole purpose is, like, opposing interfaith and interracial marriages in Israel.
Wait, what, really?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
In Israel, it is illegal for an Arab to marry a Jew. It's basically like Nazi race science of Jews will like become like impure.
Yeah, well, it dilutes the Ashkenazi.
Ugh, don't even. With that shit. Anyways. And Joe, I'd like to be depressing enough and say that Loving v. Virginia didn't happen until 1967 in this country, so it was almost the 70s that we weren't allowing interracial marriage. That is fucking insane.
We like to say that we have an idea of, human rights or whatever. Like, we really shouldn't be talking because we were basically an apartheid state until, like, 1967.
Christ.
That was, like, the year after my mom was born.
Oh, yeah, another thing This conflict has resulted in the greatest loss of life of UN employees in history.
Yeah, like 90 UN workers, and
Jesus.
the death toll among journalists at this point is at 47, because the Israelis are like targeting journalists in their homes and killing the journalists along with their entire families. These journalists are not being killed like out in the field. They are being like targeted by the Israeli government, the Israelis bombing their homes while they are there.
Their families are being killed as a result of proximity, not like the Israeli government is then after the fact killing their families, or is that what they're doing?
They're doing both.
What the fuck? Why? What is the point?
It is the unspeakable crime of reporting to the world what Israel is doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a common trope in... It's like a liberal sentiment, but it's absolutely true. If nobody reports this shit, we won't know about it.
Yeah,
And if
true.
we don't know about it, it didn't happen.
If we don't know about it, then the United States can continue to fund it. Like, really, that's...
Yeah.
It's
because
basically
it
that
didn't
simple.
happen. Oh, God. We should say about 11,000 Palestinians have died so far.
Yeah, more than 5,000 of them are children. 73% of the dead are women and children. There are about 26,000 who have been injured. A little under 3,000 people who are still trapped under the rubble. What is it, like 49 healthcare facilities have been intentionally targeted. As of like Saturday, they started targeting water and sewage infrastructure. They bombed an aid truck carrying bottled water yesterday.
Yeah. Survivors are getting sick because they don't have access to clean water anymore.
Yeah.
So they shut off their water, and now they're attacking just like any reserves they have?
No, they're bombing the sewage infrastructure. I mean, they already turned off the water, but they're also bombing the infrastructure.
Yeah, that's like an American-style war crime.
They also fired a missile at like the solar panels of like most of the hospitals because they are trying to accelerate the collapse of the entire healthcare system.
Yeah, that's an explicitly stated goal by the Israeli government. I mean, it's kind of the same thing that the United States tried to do with Cuba. Make the conditions of life, to the extent that they exist, so intolerable that people no longer feel any kind of affinity for their...
We actually also did that in Iraq and the post-Gulf War.
There's like violence, directly violence, but then there's secondarily like death by disease and tertiary political destabilization.
But the political destabilization part never really works in the way they want it to. It usually backfires.
For coherency's sake, we were just talking about the Netanyahu administration, but we've implicitly transitioned into a discussion about the American military-industrial complex. The goal is not any genuine political aim. The goal is, when it comes down to it, to be able to continue selling weapons. I've been narrating Parenti's The Face of Imperialism, and like he talks about that a little bit, how it's not, like it really doesn't matter what the ideology or policies of the government are. It's so long as they like allow foreign investment and open themselves up to like arms deals. The U.S. State Department claims on its bilateral relations fact sheet that Americans and Israelis are united by our shared commitment to democracy, economic prosperity, and regional security. I would contend that more accurate is the ruling classes in the United States and Israel are united by their aspirations to accumulate capital for themselves at the expense of marginalized Arabs. Western capitalists are afraid of the potential threat that a consolidated and independent Middle East would pose to their politico-economic interests, and the Israeli occupation attempts to preemptively neutralize that threat. Whether the Netanyahu administration is motivated by Zionism in earnest, whether the erasure of Palestinian society takes place under a veneer of Judaism, liberalism, or even national liberation, is irrelevant to the merchants of death. What matters is that money and weapons are made available to the Israeli Defense Forces when such an arrangement benefits arms dealers, and a moral framework can be constructed around acts of genocide to retroactively justify the complicity of powerful people.
I was thinking about this today. Is it like a possible comparison to like Iran-Contra? But that doesn't really it's not really as clean of an analogy because that came in the context of we were arming the Iranians, but we were playing both ends against the middle in the Iran-Iraq war. Well, we were arming both sides. We were also funding the Iraqis because, like, it was good for business as far as the Americans were concerned because, like, we were making money off of the arms sales, and two countries we didn't like in the region were, like, murdering each other. So
it's a good video game. So worth it, yeah.
Part of the transfer of weapons to Israel is the IDF has become basically a salesman. Like, they're demonstrating the use.
Yeah,
I'm serious, though.
They've been like that for decades. It's like a testing ground for, like,
they demonstrate that weapons can be used effectively.
Huh.
They treat Palestinians as
basically test subjects.
Like
exactly.
targets, test subjects.
I saw an Onion article the other day, and it was funny in a very grim kind of way. It was like, we ask Americans, what do they define as a war crime? And the first one is, like, the CEO of Lockheed Martin. Those are how daddy pays the bills.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, that's applicable to here. Like, why do you think the F-35 program still exists? That's like 27% of Lockheed's annual revenue.
I slept on the Onion. I can't lie. Like,
you slept on the Onion?
I slept.
Wait, what?
Not the literal Onion. I slept on the Onion as like they're actually very subversive.
Oh yeah.
What Jesse's saying is he didn't think that they'd be able to keep up with, like,
the
insanity of our reality.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, because they always do that, like,
how could this happen?
Says Nation where this happens frequently, and like every time there's a shooting, and I was like, dude, there was like that whole fucking drama with that guy in Maine who was a neo-Nazi, if you didn't know. So hey, I wonder what happened there.
Join the military, become a Nazi. That's
I know what
usually
happened
how it
there.
works.
There was a fucking sarcastic comment. Oh my god, dude. Anyways,
I was making a comment about how, like, this is kind of endemic to, like, the U.S. military as, like, a whole, as an institution.
If anybody has any illusions about, like, whether or not neo-Nazi culture is encouraged, like, in the barracks, it is.
Uh-huh.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. Israel. Speaking of
I mean, to
Nazis.
be fair,
yeah,
Israel is, like, the Nazi Germany of our time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have been thinking that probably too uncomfortable to say, but I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off because that's just what I kind of tend to do.
You did it, folks.
It's kind of like we're watching, like, the Holocaust and, like, the Vietnam War playing out at the same time in different ways.
Yeah.
Because you've got, like, the Trail of Tears going on in the form of, like, 1.5 million Palestinians being internally displaced because their homes are rubble. As a result of, like, Vietnam era, like, I think Luna Oy was actually talking about this yesterday, or it was earlier today. My sense of what day it is kind of shot, but whatever. About how, like, the IDF bombing campaign is very reminiscent to, like, Operation Rolling Thunder in Vietnam, where there's just indiscriminate carpet bombing that ultimately didn't work anyways.
Yeah, with a racist justification.
Yeah. In fact, actually, the U.S. during the Vietnam War made the argument that civilian casualties in Vietnam were because the civilian populace were, you guessed it, human shields.
Oh, for fuck's sake. God damn it.
It's not a new talking point.
God damn it.
Like I said in the last episode, everything that makes the IDF heinous and the state backing of IDF war crimes heinous is just they just ported American war crimes to Israel.
Uh-huh.
Like the ideology, the justification, the propaganda.
They are worse at fighting wars than we are, though.
Are they?
I mean, they're losing right now.
Yeah, we lost Vietnam too, though.
Yeah, but it took us like 20 years to lose that, and they're losing like
20 years, Joe.
They're losing like in a month.
Oh, yes, that's true. Are they in? Have ground forces?
They're losing a lot of tanks, actually.
Yeah, but have ground forces like actually infantry? No, not yet.
Yeah, they are, but they're taking very heavy losses.
Yeah, Hamas has surprisingly been very resourceful.
No.
Even like Zionist military officers are quoted in Israeli newspapers as saying as such in recent days.
Because isn't a ground invasion? Isn't that like Hezbollah's like red line? Isn't that like Iran's red line?
I mean, Hezbollah's been fighting them since October 8th.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, isn't that a bunch of people's like red line?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And we're kind of getting to that point, but there's also the fact that the U.S.
You mean America? I don't fucking think so. Anyways, sorry.
Well, no, the U.S. frantically moved 80 warships into the region, and the U.S. Navy now has like 80 warships, like 2 carrier strike groups comprised of 2 of our biggest nuclear-powered super carriers.
There you go.
Right off the coast of Israel.
You know what's on those fucking subs? Or those fucking boats?
Nukes.
Nuclear weapons, yes.
So, not counting the U.S. Navy, you have 3 countries in Western Asia, in the region, who have access to nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
That we know of.
It's getting
Russia,
very precarious.
Israel, and Pakistan. And this is assuming that Iran doesn't have any nuclear weapons, and this isn't counting the 2 U.S. Navy carrier strike groups who definitely have nukes.
Honestly, Iran probably doesn't after...
They probably don't.
Fucking deserve
But,
them.
like, I mean, Israel, for fuck's sake, one of their cabinet ministers went on the radio on Sunday and suggested that dropping nukes on Gaza was a possible option.
I'm just wondering if that were to actually happen, like, if we would be living in a Call of Duty timeline at that point.
Yeah.
Which is, like, one of the worst possible, like, outcomes of this whole thing is that, like, this would make Call of Duty seem normal. Why are we doing this? I don't know.
Probably tame by comparison, to be honest.
Yeah.
You have Russia that, Putin just casually reminding, the U.S. that, oh yeah, like, your carriers are, like, within range of our fighter jets. You know that, right?
Terrorists, insurgencies, are not usually dealt with nuclear weapons. And we know about the tunnel systems under Gaza, however...
Not really.
Extravagant. I mean, like, we know they exist, but they're probably not even a quarter of as extravagant as Israel has told us. My point is basically, there's no way to say it, but that would basically be... He's openly saying that we should drop a nuke on civilians, on innocent people. Because, like, the other option is fucking terrorists, which aren't technically, like... Because terrorism is a fucking concept. Like, you go to war on, like, a regime or, like, a country or, like, something. So, like, this is insane. It's like he's basically saying that it's okay to drop nukes on civilians.
Neither of those things apply to the United States, though, because the United States has dropped nuclear weapons on civilians multiple times.
It's that meme of, like...
And we also fight wars against concepts instead of countries. Like, we got the war on drugs. We got, like, the war on poverty, which is going fantastic, by the way.
Yeah,
I think we lost that
shut
one.
this up your ass. Like, this is one of these moments where you have to tell, like, a Ben Shapiro type to, like, go fuck themselves, because all of this is postmodern bullshit. Like, all of this is, like, the entire, like, conceptualization of fucking, like, Israel is, like, postmodern bullshit. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. Sorry.
It's a country that really does not deserve to exist.
Yeah. I mean, because, okay, Jesus Christ, let's establish some fundamentals. One, no country has the right to exist. They just exist because things happen, because of, like, politics and time and migration and populaces settle in places and things just happen. So, okay, countries happen that way. So no country has the right to exist. They just do because they do. Secondly, no country has the right to exist based on a religion. That's fucking insane. So, and I know it's not technically based on, like, Judaism, it's more based on Zionism, but the mask is that it's based on Judaism. Like, the whole, like, the country is a religious country, and that's fucking, I don't know. These things are just, they're oppressive systems, and they can't exist, and it's just, this is why borders are bad. Anyway, sorry.
What if it was, like, apartheid Bantustan South Africa, but they began public press statements by saying shalom?
Basically.
Yeah.
Actually, this week marks the 40th anniversary of Fidel Castro sending 30,000 Cuban soldiers to help Angola fend off an invasion from apartheid South Africa.
Can we shift to talking about politicians having shitty takes? Because I need to blow off. I got way too serious there for a second. Joe, you want to talk about Rashida Tlaib right now?
Wow, Andy Beshear actually won re-election. That's surprising. The Democratic governor of Kentucky was apparently re-elected.
Oh, wow. abortion is up for grabs in
Ohio, I think.
in Ohio this election cycle.
Joe?
Talk about some good things that's happening right now, or I'm gonna blow another fucking casket, please.
We can talk about the nations that are severing ties with Israel.
Or, already have. Bolivia, South Africa, Chad. They've all severed ties.
Venezuela.
Venezuela, actually, their foreign ministry called bombing hospitals a Nazi-style war crime. So, they're definitely not on speaking terms with Israel at the moment.
Oh, Colombia.
Yeah,
Colombia?
Colombia did.
Yeah. Colombia, that's huge. That's really fucking big.
Yeah.
Why?
Because that was America's puppet government.
That was basically like the Israel of South America, as far as like our...
No, that's...
I know, it's just fun.
In the sense that that was like the main base of like U.S. empire.
Is that where a bunch of like the Nazis went?
No, that's
You're thinking
Argentina.
of Argentina. Mostly Argentina and Bolivia.
Yeah, and Bolivia, that didn't work out so well.
Yeah, no. Actually, Evo Morales is
Brazil.
running for president again, and he is the nominee for the ruling Socialist Party.
Who's in control of Colombia?
And
Who's the president?
Morales condemned
Never mind.
Israel.
Gustavo Petro.
Okay. Evo Morales, who's going to be the Movement for Socialism's presidential nominee in 2025, he said a couple weeks ago that Netanyahu should be put on trial for war crimes. So...
Wait, who said that? What?
Evo Morales, who's going to be the presidential nominee for the ruling Socialist Party of Bolivia.
Oh. Does he have a shot at getting elected?
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely. He's incredibly popular. He was the guy that we tried to coup in 2019.
All right,
But
well,
then,
that me out.
the people of Bolivia, voted that party back in, 6 months later.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Nicaragua.
South Africa South America, I think South Africa already severed ties and called Israel a terrorist state.
South Africa also? Wow.
They were, one of the first ones.
Sorry, but yeah, Nicaragua. The Sandinistas, they're like, fuck that.
South America
Fuck
is,
that nonsense.
Based.
Yeah. South America. Dancing in the street.
Anyways,
What happened with APAC and Rashida Tlaib?
right now,
Race.
well, a lot of things are going on
Racism.
with Rashida Tlaib because she is sadly pretty much one of the only members of Congress not to be
Isn't...
completely cringe.
What's his fucking name? We've held his feet to the fire a lot.
Fetterman?
No. Fuck Fetterman. We'll get to
Fuck
them
Fetterman.
later, man.
Which
We'll get
guy?
to them later. Guy. Bowman. Isn't Bowman, also, pretty... He actually has a pretty decent line on this, despite
Yeah.
having voted for the Iron Dome.
We bullied him.
It's also kind of comical that we mentioned the
subservience.
Iron Dome because apparently that's malfunctioned.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's-
yeah, I heard that too.
The malfunction of
I have
the
actually
Iron
seen a
Dome.
video of an Iron Dome missile being fired into the air, and then it
Yep.
did a U-turn and crashed into a house in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, and then there's another one that corkscrews into the front of a fucking apartment complex in the entire front of the car complex and falls down.
Yeah, that's how you know, that's how you can distinguish,
It was definitely made in America.
yeah, Hamas rockets from, Israeli and American rockets, because the Israeli rockets destroy everything.
Yeah.
Which is bad.
Reminds me of that statement Biden made when he was asked about that first hospital bombing, and he said that Hamas needed to learn to shoot straight, whereas really
Fuck
the
off.
opposite is true. Israel
Yeah.
needs to learn how to do that. They're not
Yeah.
very good at it.
And it was right after they started to deny that they bombed that hospital, they then bombed the pediatric hospital the next day, and then and then it came out that they had also bombed that original hospital.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the one where they did the whole thing of making the fake recordings and shit between Hamas agents or whatever,
I really can't unsee the image of the
members of Hamas, I guess.
director of medicine, the chief doctor of the Al Shifa hospital, which was the first hospital that got bombed, giving a press conference, bodies everywhere, piled up around the podium, with a guy sitting at the base of the podium holding his dead child in his arms. Can't unsee that.
No, you can't.
You were doing happy times.
Yeah, Joe, I thought you were going to talk about... Did you talk about the... Did I just black out? Did you talk about APAC? What
I
happened?
didn't get a chance to.
Okay, go off.
APAC is currently running a 6-figure attack ad in Rashida Tlaib's district, attacking her for quote-unquote anti-Semitism, because she is one of the few members of Congress with the balls to actually not be super cringe. It is also worth noting that Rashida Tlaib is the lone Palestinian American in Congress. Her family still lives in Palestine.
Jesus.
She is facing 3 different censure motions.
What? From whom? From whom?
The Republicans, and some of the Democrats are jumping on board.
Fuck off. Who? I want to know where they live now.
Josh Gottheimer, New Jersey. He's like a pro-Israel hawk. He's like one of the most cringe Democrats in Congress.
All right, that name's too complicated for me. No, move on.
He's a petulant shitlib who did lose an argument with a car, but 5 years ago.
What?
He had a tantrum when like some local reporter showed up to a town hall, and then he started like trying to punch a car, and he somehow lost.
Oh.
That reminds me. There's a basically Ben Shapiro tried to do a thing. There's a TikTok of a guy addressing everything and dressing down the pro-Israeli arguments, getting into everything. And Ben Shapiro, basically, he tried to do a video where he like was like trying to break down the video and tell it like explain how it's lying and stuff. And literally every time Ben would pause the video, he would say something that then the video would then have like an explanation for, and like he kept getting owned by this TikTok over and over again until he shut it off like a quarter of the way through. And it was like, dude, like didn't you watch it like ahead of time? Like what the fuck? It's so weird. And then like he tried to do this whole breakdown of the history of Israel, and it's like, dude, like the whole biblical claim to the land is just
Imagine
oh my god, it's 2023. That's frivolous at best.
Frivolous.
It's like actually saying frivolous is like it doesn't even cover it. It's fucking absurd. It's absurdist. Of course, Aaron J. Murphy's leading. Fucking.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but like someone tweeted an image from Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's like that cutscene where they're showing the plane that he's on, like flying towards wherever the fuck he is, and on the map it says Palestine.
Yeah. I mean, historically, yes, it was like that movie takes place in the 30s, so.
People are like, well, they say Palestine never existed. Look at the map. This is a movie from the 80s.
Yeah. And it was Spielberg who fucking made Schindler's List that has that whole, like, unnecessary sequence that ends in Israel. So.
Yeah.
Spielberg at least gets it. Fucking come on. Anyways. You know who doesn't get it? Gal Gadot, of course. She's basically promoting a documentary that's been put together that's basically just like footage of the attack, but it's just like extreme violence and like rape and stuff. And it's just like people are like, this is just exploitation. So that's happening.
Well, that's because Gal Gadot was a member of the IDF.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know.
I think I saw Mike shared something about that, and it said at one point like attempted actress Gal Gadot.
Yeah. I mean, if you saw Wonder Woman 2, like, part of the plot of Wonder Woman 2 was about building a giant fucking wall around the Turks and stuff. It's really disturbing. So, at least Gal Gadot is true blue for the cause.
Speaking of segues.
Yeah, seg it out.
So, the UN...
I don't know if I got that wrong about Wonder Woman 2. Who cares?
The UN General Assembly got together to take, one of their classic...
non-binding votes.
Do Palestinians deserve to be treated like human votes? And in typical global fashion, everybody agreed Palestinians are humans.
But because it was in the General Assembly, it's not legally binding.
But there were 4 notable exceptions.
Oh, I wonder who.
One of them, which is notable because of how fucked up it is, Venezuela did not vote, not because they didn't want to, but because they couldn't afford to fucking have a representative at the General Assembly, which is genuinely sad. On September 6th, 2023, Voice of America News reported that, quote, Venezuela owes millions to the United Nations in back dues, but is having difficulty paying them in part due to U.S. sanctions. And the other 3, the United States.
Oh, boy. Oh.
Israel.
What? You don't say. Come on, buddy. Who's this last one?
And Ukraine.
I genuinely don't know what to say. What? I'm so confused. Like,
You heard correctly.
What's up, Zelensky? What's going on? Do we need to have a talk? What's going on?
I mean, he is a Nazi, basically.
What is? I don't understand. Is this basically a plea for the lion's share of like the weapons that like people are doling out right now? Because like that's the only explanation I can think of. What?
Yeah, that steady streams become a trickle.
And then becomes a flood.
No, I meant of arms shipments to Zelensky.
That well has dried.
Oh, yeah.
That hose has been turned off.
Zelensky, he's getting desperate for attention. He went on Meet the Press the other day and said, and I quote, "If you can, give us financial support. Like, give us a loan and we'll pay you back."
A loan for what? Weapons? Why wouldn't you just ask for weapons?
Because he's saying this on Meet the Press.
Yeah. He's asking for, like, venture capitalists to invest.
If you can't support us financially, fine. Please give us a loan and we'll pay you back.
Wait. If you can't support us financially, that's fine. But give us money anyways and we'll pay you back?
Yes.
That is what he's saying?
That is the exact quote.
Okay. I just want to be clear about that. All right. What an idiot. I don't get it. Anyways. Like I don't actually want to be negative about Zelensky as a person or as like a leader of a country of innocent people that like really don't deserve to be like invaded. But then
he's not a good president, dude.
No, but then he does dumb shit like this. And then he's like a fucking actual fascist, you know?
He said 2 days ago, it was reported in Reuters, that he finds it to be irresponsible to hold elections while this war is happening. So he's going to be president indefinitely.
Here's the thing. In a vacuum, I would be completely sympathetic to this.
Yeah.
Because imagine if, like, there was some revolutionary that was fighting a war for, like, the continued existence of their nation. That would be the perfect time for some fucking US-backed candidate to come in and, like, sweet-talk everybody. But in this case, he is that guy. He's already that guy.
And he's also, like, stipulating that he won't hold elections unless the US gives him more money.
He's afraid he's going to lose?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's why he banned all other political parties. Like,
it's not doing a whole lot for like the working class of Ukraine right now. Sorry to say.
How do you ban other political parties? How do you
ban all opposition parties?
What?
Yeah, I talked about this on the pod like a year ago.
Yeah, I remember that discussion led into like this bizarre rabbit hole for me finding out how like television signals worked because he banned like dissident
banned every
media.
Single political party that was to the left and center.
He did like the bad socialism.
The bad socialism?
Where like the state takes control of independent media outlets.
Yes. I was actually thinking about that the other day. That there are bad versions of socialism.
Absolutely.
State socialism would be bad. You want to talk about the disappointment of Mr. Sanders and Fetterman, and actually at the same time, I don't give a fuck about Fetterman.
Rashida Tlaib and how like
fine, go off.
She gave a speech today, and she was like in tears, having like Ilhan Omar having to like console her, hanging there, kind of like holding under her arms, like while she's giving a speech, holding up a photo of her grandma, being like, "Why is it that like when Palestinian people cry, like when they're getting bombed, those sound different to you?" It's what she said, like addressing like the other members of Congress, being like, "Why is it that Palestinians aren't human as far as you people seem to be concerned?" Because there is a bill on the House floor called for a ceasefire, in which there are a grand total of 18 co-sponsors in a chamber of 435 representatives. So, that is the state of things in Congress. The Democrats seem intent on, like, political suicide.
Yeah, but those are 18 brave, soon-to-be primary members.
I mean, AIPAC's already running a six-figure attack ad on Tlaib. That's just her. Though, I think she'll overcome it.
If you want to talk about the Democrats' political suicide, then we can talk about, go off, please.
That's where I was going to transition to, because,
go off!
The Democrats...
I tell this motherfucker to go off, and it doesn't go off.
I don't think they have a future as a political formation, because, like, they don't offer anything. Their whole shtick is, like, we're somehow supposed to be, like, the bulwark against fascism, but they're usually the ones who are also doing the fascism.
Yeah, that's about to say.
That's not really conducive to your selling point that, like, we aren't the thing that we are.
Like,
At least the Republicans, they are what they say they are.
we are like the fascistic psychopaths. That is who we are. We are not going to pretend that we're something else.
New poll just came out. It's basically causing most prominent Democrats to shit themselves
Oh,
because of just how bad it is. Like, I've been saying this for a couple years now that Joe Biden is running out of people to fuck over, and it's going to bite him in the ass.
how do you know that the Democrats are shitting themselves? Have they been expressing a desire to shit themselves? Is there a smell coming from Washington we should be concerned about?
Let me guess, based on my knowledge of Joe. There are op-eds in like
He made it up. No.
Forbes and New York Times and shit like that, and The Guardian.
No, Obama's like campaign manager who ran both of his campaigns has publicly said that he doesn't think Biden should be the nominee anymore. And there's also, you know...
Oh, yeah, I have heard that.
Close.
I have heard that.
I was close. All right.
But, like, this new New York Times poll shows that literally nobody wants him to be president anymore.
Yeah, get him out.
Also, like...
Grandpa, it's time to go. Sleep time.
The thing that makes me convinced that he's screwed is that Arab Americans have clearly stated that, like, if there isn't a ceasefire, we're not voting for you. And
right, yeah.
Arab Americans make up a large chunk of the population in Pennsylvania, Michigan particularly, in Wisconsin, surprisingly. So, like, if those people just simply decide not to come out to vote next year...
You are fucked.
You are Joe Biden. It's really that simple. The Biden administration's strategy or plan, to the extent you can call it a plan, according to the Washington Post, is the administration assumes that Arab Americans and Muslims in the United States will, quote-unquote, calm down.
What the fuck?
By this time next year.
Jesus.
If
That
this
is
is
the
still
administration's
happening,
plan, which is why I can confidently tell you on November 7th, 2023, that they are fucked.
yeah, no, like,
I don't think it's possible to like infantilize an entire category of people that badly.
an entire demographic is going
They
to
will calm down. Like they are a 7-year-old who is...
This is just tantrum time, yeah.
They're like a woman experiencing hysteria in like fucking the Victorian Middle Ages.
Yeah.
They're being hysterical. We only murdered
They are.
30 of their relatives last week.
Once they arise from their fainting couch,
So, like, oh, man.
they'll have their wits about them again.
That's wild.
Yeah, fuck Joe Biden.
70% of voters in this poll conclude that Joe Biden is too old and too senile to be president.
And he's a fucking terrible person. Like, I hate that guy. The way that he dismissed
Go off.
the
I want to hear this.
Genocide
death
denial.
toll in Palestine by just saying like, oh well, we can't trust anything that Palestinians say because
Well, that's
Genocide
Hamas's
denial.
numbers.
because everybody knows that all Palestinians are just a front group for Hamas, and it's like, dude, these are the numbers that like the entire world uses.
The Onion literally ran with a headline yesterday. New York Times comes up with new metric to measure the Palestinian death toll so they don't actually have to use the actual numbers.
Yeah, it is the most reliable data you can possibly get coming out of Palestine.
For a second there, I thought you meant The Onion, but I understand what you mean.
The Onion is also pretty accurate data as well. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, God.
And the thing that he said when he just parroted that bullshit claim,
Oh, I think I saw that.
Oh, the 40 beheaded children.
babies with their heads ripped off. What the fuck, dude? He didn't even... He said it as if he had seen it himself.
That's because he's senile, doesn't know where he is.
Yeah.
He's
He's
an
falling down the
asshole who's
stairs.
senile. It's like, we have a country where it's like, what if we had, like, a segregationist version of, like, Weekend at Bernie's running our country?
You need to stop using that. You need to find a new...
Then Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe.
You need to find a new
It's
person. Other than... Who is Bernie from Weekend at Bernie?
Who is this man that you speak
He's a
of?
corpse
He's a corpse. He's a corpse.
that they manipulate to make seem that he's still alive so that they can take advantage of his fortune and his beach house. That's the first movie. The second movie is
There's a second
they use a voodoo curse to resurrect Bernie, but the problem is it goes wrong, and he only can come to life when he hears Rastafarian music. So they have to keep playing Rastafarian music near him, and he's walking towards the location of a hidden treasure. That's the second movie. I just detailed the plots of the Weekend at Bernie's films. I deserve nothing for this. And I am curling inside of myself. So give me a moment. Talk about something.
We all have strengths, you know.
I just mostly have weaknesses. No. No. Oh God. Okay. Here's the thing that I've been thinking about when it comes to Biden, and this also is my thoughts on Bernie. You've elucidated certain things that I didn't know. No, is that like they're trying to appeal to this like mainstream progressive like thought and progressive voice that hasn't existed for like 20 years, and they just haven't caught up to it. I think that is certainly the case with fucking Biden. At the same time, I think Biden's like always kind of been a bought-in Zionist at the same time. But
he doesn't have any of his own opinions about anything. Since his entry into politics, he just does whatever the fuck. he just like does whatever lobbyists tell him to do. You know what I mean?
Exploits his children's death and stuff.
Yeah, I think it was like 1986. He said on the floor of the Senate, if Israel did not exist today, we would have to invent in Israel to represent our interests.
Oh.
So this is not a new thing for him.
I'm just imagining like the alternate history where fucking Joe Biden didn't get involved in politics.
Just
like,
died in the car accident.
No. That would be...
Sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
I died with my dead wife and their children.
That would have been so much better.
Ooh.
Not wrong. No lies detected there.
Oh, boy.
The world will be a much better place.
He's written some very bad legislation, Scott.
Yeah, I know he has, but I think someone would probably just fill his neoliberal void as well. Think about it. Can we talk about Burns and Fed? Are you done?
Burns?
The Burns and the Fed? Terman and the Bernie Sanders? No.
Bernie Sanders? Why do you want to shit on Bernie? He's like, are you surprised?
Like a little tiny bit, but not really. It's just disappointing to see. I don't want to like shit on Bernie Sanders. It is disappointing to see. And at the same time, like, fuck that. No, like, I spent time like canvassing for him and stuff. Like, fuck him. Like, that's just very disappointing.
That's fair.
All I can see is that America, oddly, the fucking like extremely conservative government of Israel or of the Netanyahu regime and of the Democrats, and especially led by Biden, like they're all isolating themselves in a way that's like, it's fucked. It's all untenable. I don't know. This is it. This is something like, this is like the end of a chapter that's going to begin a new one that's going to be much worse, I think. So
that's why I say that Biden is toast. Like, Biden is toast.
Biden's totally toast.
The state of Israel in its current configuration is toast. It's like, it's really at this point a question of when, not if.
Yeah.
And to quote Fidel Castro, like, revolution is not a flower bed. It is a fight to the death between the past and the future.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Fidel Castro.
Nice. One of our
good friends.
One of our best comrades, yes, Fidel Castro. That's what I said to my brother this afternoon is, yeah, so I guess the Democrats are toast for the foreseeable. Yay? Question mark. It's a fun time, folks. And Fetterman, like, whatever.
Fuck him.
Fuck them all.
Fuck them.
We don't even need to think about them anymore. They don't exist. We got to do better. We got to find a better class of politician. I don't know where they exist. They exist somewhere.
Onion headline about John Fetterman this week. John Fetterman suggests that Palestinian child who's lost his whole family try therapy.
Basically.
Jesus Christ.
No, basically, dude, like, that's... Christ. That, anyways. Fuck!
Fuck the Democrats. Fuck all of them. And now we segue to more local issues of we're all fucked.
Or Zelensky.
We already
Or
saw
whatever the fuck.
We touched on Zelensky. I can talk about Mass and Cass. Like, there isn't a whole lot that I can do as an individual to change the course of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Although it seems like the protests that have been happening around the world are like genuinely lighting a fire under some very powerful people's asses.
Like, dock workers in Europe are refusing to unload ships that are bound for Israel.
Yeah.
Mm.
even just the fact that, like, you know, the international community, which is the most vague statement I've ever made, the, you know, people generally around the world, that when they see us in the streets,
Around the world.
it
What do
means
you mean by
something.
us? Who's us?
The working class.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you meant like Americans. Okay.
Well, yeah, American, but like anybody, you know, people sympathetic to like anti-colonialist struggle, like Palestinian struggle, especially Jews, honestly. I think it's awesome that the
Jewish Voice for Peace
crew has been some of the most vocal.
Yes.
You know, we aren't politicians. We're not the ones who are moving big arms shipments, but we can get involved with smaller order issues on a local level. And one of the things that I've been involved in for a while now is mutual aid. And I don't know how much I can say about it because I don't want to like blow up the spot. Oh, that was bad, unfortunate phrasing. The encampment.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, it's like,
not the best.
The encampment that we normally serve, the whole thing went up in flame because of there was some kind of like battery that set a fire and then caused like a chain reaction of propane tanks exploding.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was really bad.
You meant that literally. Okay.
Somehow everybody came out alive and nearly unscathed. Like there were some minor burn injuries, but everybody got the medical treatment that they needed to, and nobody died. I think it's the big thing. But we've had to kind of start from the ground up, you know, reestablishing some baseline of material security. On top of that, the Michelle Wu administration of Boston
Boo.
has, over the past week, greenlit and overseen yet another sweep on mass and casts.
Oh my god.
And I think this time it was a little bit more...
Not woo.
It was a little bit more...
Clever.
I think it feels a little bit more like a knife to the ribs because Michelle Wu, like, ran on stopping this from happening, and
Instead of stopping it from happening, she did the thing.
yes, like she ran on creating an alternative to basically a socio-political order dictated by like the zoning board. And ultimately, I think it was primarily the input from the New Market business. What are they called? New Market Development dipshit.
New Market Development dipshit. Sounds legit.
Whatever the fuck. I actually.
That's very official.
New Market.
Good enough for me.
Whatever, I'll put it in post. It's New Market Business Association. They have an outsized voice in terms of how space in the city is used. And according to accounts from comrades who were there on the ground as it happened, New Market hired like their own goons to facilitate the sweep, yet again tossing everybody's personal belongings into trash compactors and displacing a bunch of people who, you know, it's not a luxurious existence, but for these people who live on Atkinson Street, like this is their home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are houseless, but they are not homeless. And they have made a home where possible. So they have had the only things that they own taken away from them, and they're being forcefully relocated. And if they meet these actions with resistance, they end up in a fucking jail cell.
Yeah.
So our mutual aid group, I still don't know if, whatever, it's Warm Up Boston. It's Warm Up Boston. We've been making...
Are you keeping that name and are you going to not leave that out?
I don't know yet.
All right.
We'll see.
If you're not going to, donate to them, please. So.
Yeah. We are taking initiative to do some more recruiting and use this as a way to shore up more volunteer support and increase our breadth and scope of distributions. Okay, so Warm Up's official statement on the Mass and Cast sweep, quote, Tuesday, the city of Boston has carried out their final sweep on Mass and Cast's Atkinson Street encampment. They will not be allowed to return and have been divided between shelters and dispersed to smaller encampments throughout the city. The city of Boston has had, since 2014, to plan for and finance proper accommodations, but a chauvinistic mayor and morally bankrupt city council have moved with false haste. Almost a decade of neglect created the urgency used to justify this brutal response. an urgency created with the interests of profit and gentrification at the expense of human livelihood. This is yet another example of quote-unquote progressives pretending to care while neglecting the people's material needs and then responding with brutality.
That sounds like a progressive to me.
Our city's social services are not prepared to work under these new conditions, and with winter fast approaching, it is the place of community activist organizations to once again pick up the slack. And so with that, I encourage anybody in the Boston area, please get involved with mutual aid. You can reach out to Warm Up on social media. It's at Warm Up Boston.
Well, something I want to say is that, like, I'm not saying this is true of all homeless people, but, like, a lot of them, like, they don't start out that way on like as a choice, but then a lot of them actually, like, they start to, like, live in a community and they start to like build a support system and stuff, and then, like, for a lot of them, it's like it becomes easier for them to stay there than to, like, try to, like, move into, like, somewhere else and try to, like, actually, like, integrate back into, like, what people would call, like, normal society or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
What you guys do with, like, mutual aid and shit is, like, a part of those support systems that they build within those communities and shit. So, I don't know. Homelessness and houselessness in this country is much more complicated than people give it credit for. But, like, don't fucking sweep their shit away. That's fucked up. Anyways.
Yes, I co-sign that.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I love what you just said, because it is kind of like there is this social aspect of homelessness that gets overlooked under the assumption that, like, oh, you know, everybody, you can just have this cookie cutter solution, which is,
yeah, precisely,
you know, force everybody to get and stay clean and just give them structure. And it's like, you can't just expect everybody to be held to, like, this same arbitrary, you know, set of guidelines that constitutes, like, a quote unquote productive member of society. You know what I mean? Everybody has strengths and weaknesses.
It honestly kind of sounds like how people who aren't on the spectrum just kind of react to people on the spectrum.
God
like,
damn it, dude.
Why don't you just try harder?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
You're exactly right. And like, I mean, we develop personal relationships with these people. Like, they're fucking people, you know, they're human. They have their own needs and wants and dietary preferences and everything else.
Yeah.
They're homies. That's what I call them. Like, that's how I refer to, like, the people at the encampment. I just shorten that to the homies, because that's how I think about
the
them.
homies.
So anyway, the UN, I don't know, this might just be a coincidence on timing. The UN put out a statement. I forget it's the UN Human Rights Committee. UN Human Rights Committee put out a statement calling on the United States to abolish laws and policies criminalizing homelessness at all levels, and adopt legislative and other measures that protect the human rights of homeless people, offer financial and legal incentives to decriminalize homelessness, including by conditioning or withdrawing funds from the state and local authorities that criminalize homelessness, intensify efforts to find solutions for the homeless in accordance with human rights standards.
Oh, so you mean something other than just throwing them in prison?
Including by redirecting funding from criminal justice responses towards adequate housing and shelter programs, review criminal records policies and practices that can lead to homelessness. And so this is basically the UN calling out the United States, saying that the crisis of homelessness that we are experiencing is a product of our own policy.
Or in layman's terms, the UN saying to the United States, can you stop acting like a caricature of what you claim third world countries are?
Yes. I mean, we talk about fascism is imperialism directed inward.
Oh.
Yep.
So maybe it's okay to call these policies fascist, because they are. Mm-hmm. This episode's probably going to come out after it happens, but I will be one of several comrades tabling for Warm Up at the Boston Anarchist Book Fair this weekend. Carleen said she'll be there too.
All the fun things happen while I'm at work.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I work Friday and Sunday evenings, so I miss a lot of shit too.
Like, I had to take off last Saturday just to go to a family reunion.
I'm sorry,
Family reunion?
Oh, it was worth it.
To get drunk? Is that why?
No, because I have too much of a tolerance. Oh. You know, I'm just, like, sitting there just drinking whiskey all day.
You do that all day, every day?
Only around family.
Understandable. Okay, never mind.
But no, like, it was just good to see relatives I haven't seen in a while.
Do they all have opinions on Palestine?
But half of them are cringe, like a third of them don't know what's going on, and then the rest of them are based.
Half of them are cringe. Like, they're shitty. They think they're like, I disavow Hummus, or whatever. They say that.
Like, my parents are, like, aggressively pro-Israel. Because...
Do you condemn Hamas?
the meme of, like, at the gas station thing, instead of, like, do you want to receive? Do you condemn Hamas?
Oh, God.
Do you condemn hummus?
Yeah. I'll condemn some hummus.
I like hummus.
No, hummus is very good, yeah.
I like hummus, dude.
I can do without it. Until this whole thing is sorted out.
I like chickpeas, too. Just regular old chickpeas.
Yeah, they're good.
Regular garbanzo beans. Garbanzo beans. And we're gonna end with a positive story.
With the Wework?
And I'm gonna give Joe the floor here because we had the same thought, but I saw it after he did. Apparently he quote unquote sat on this news for about 2 hours.
Oh, I have another thing too.
Well, you can wait your turn.
I will.
Wework.
It's related. Slightly. Laterally.
Formerly hopeful $1 trillion company has filed for fucking bankruptcy. Take it away, Joe.
Wait.
Were they really worth $1 trillion?
No, that's what they claimed that they aspired to.
All right, go off, Joe.
So, to quote a Reuters headline, SoftBank's Wework, once valuable U.S. startup, succumbs to bankruptcy. To the cheers of every working class person and to the horrified screams of landlords. They have collapsed.
Come on.
Yeah, like, WeWork's now like a penny stock. 92% of the company's lenders have agreed to convert their secured debt into equity, which means that basically the landlords who, have leases with WeWork are now basically going to be holding a bag.
GameStop nerds, where are they to save this? Come on, buy it up.
WeWork didn't actually sell anything, though.
I know,
there's no products.
Yeah, people don't have like a sentimental sort of thing that they did like for GameStop. So yeah.
Yeah, WeWork has apparently lost like 99% of its share value this year. So
God damn, man, it's over. Put it in, boys.
They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy yesterday.
Pack it up, pack it in.
I mean, let them. Well, they have to end now, unfortunately. So they're not beginning anytime soon. The positive thing. Are you done? By the way, I don't know what.
That was a very good House of Pain reference. Aren't they Irish too? Fucking
yes,
the House of Pain.
Unfortunately,
it's so bizarre.
Boston Irish. Yes. Horrible image that they give. Yes, exactly. Do you have any more to say about that?
I think it's very funny. Fuck WeWork.
Yeah, the thing that I have that slightly is related is Sam Bankman-Fried was found guilty on all charges.
He now faces 110 years in prison.
Woo!
He is going to prison for a while.
Fucked. Yeah.
I remember 2 or 3 days after FTX collapsed, he did like a live interview with like the New York Times over Skype, and he kept on saying things like, "My lawyers tell me I shouldn't be talking to the media at all, but here I am." And then say something really damning.
Yeah, but like at the same time, was that one of his like amphetamine episodes where he was just fucking like up for 3 days, just saying weird shit to people?
Honestly,
apparently he did that all the time. He didn't eat food. He was just a weirdo. So,
I can relate to that though. That's like the only relatable thing about
yeah.
Him. On some level.
A heavy dependency and addiction on amphetamines. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
It's relatable. Oh, God. Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Apparently, it turns out the main motivating factor for him doing like a Super Bowl ad with Larry David in it is because his dad really, really wanted to meet Larry David.
There was a Super Bowl ad for crypto with Larry David in it?
Where Larry David's like, I don't think this is going to work.
Oh, Larry. We love you. Oh, man. Well, there we go. Anyways, We have a thing that says workers refusing to transport weapon shipments. That's good too.
Yeah.
We already covered that. We got that.
That was just like if we felt like it was getting too bleak, we could.
I feel like we ended on something not so bleak. I mean, Jesus Christ! Like I keep thinking about like how this ends and shit, and like I don't know. It's bad. It's bad.
Contradictions are coming to a head, though.
I have the revolutionary optimism to feel like Palestine will endure this. Because, like, if Vietnam could endure 3 different colonial empires, like, fend off 3 different empires trying to colonize them in less than 40 years, Palestine will be able to endure this.
Well, God willing.
I don't know about God willing, but...
Allah willing?
Actually, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, there we go.
Sure.
We want to be inclusive here on this podcast, but anyways. Are we good? Oh, yeah, we are. We're good. I feel good. Anyways. Oh, I made Joe laugh. That's good. My name is Scott. Sweaty Wife
I thought we were
on
going to
Twitch.
do, like, a slam recommendation.
I do that at the end.
When Jesse fucking does his shit. What the fuck, dude? When did you forget this? Anyways. Okay.
We can do it now. Your slam recommendation is...
Oh, my God.
I was so fucking stoked that this album came out. The album is entitled Scriptures of Vicennial Defilement.
Oh.
And the artist is Kraanium. They're so fucking good. They're so heavy. They used to be like... They were very proudly like Norwegian slam. But now they are just the most Nordic band of all time because their members are from Norway, Switzerland, Finland, and Denmark.
Oh, wow. All of them. Every single one.
Well, I guess there's one British guy too, but I was gonna gloss over that.
Yeah, fuck that guy. We don't need to mention him. What does he do?
Where's the cowbell?
I don't fucking know.
What is the what makes slam again?
It's brutal death metal, but it's the down tempo riffs, a lot of double kick. The guitar takes up like the mid range. The percussion takes up like the highest of the high and the lowest of the low, and the vocals must be unintelligible.
Must
be unintelligible.
Okay. Well, I hope we have brought you on closer to understanding slam death metal, folks.
You can't comprehend it. It's like you know it when you see it.
You know it when you see it, just like depravity.
Anyway.
Outros.
My name is Scott, Sweaty Wife on Twitch and Instagram and shit. Joe, are you even on the internet anymore? Do you even care?
Am I there? Yes. Do I care? Not really.
Alright. And he already did a slam recommendation, which is upsetting, but he's Jesse.
It's alright. I'm Jesse. You can find my shit on youtube.com/@contingenceboston. And that's it. Sorry to do the slam recommendation.
You fucked it up, Joe. The whole whatever.
I just remember him being very excited about his slam recommendation.
All right, I'll recommend it again.
Yeah, do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah, do it again.
No, I'm not gonna do it again. I do really like this album though.
Oh, that's good. Go buy it for your young child.
They're on the label called Unique Leader Records, which is like creme de la creme of brutal death metal. So
it looks like is it 4 people? So it looks like Aaron, Ruthie, Julia, and unfortunately Aaron are gonna.
That 4th slot is really the toss up. Like who the fuck is gonna be the 4th?
Bridget M. Nee Walsh. I don't know who that is. Do I know who that is? I don't know who that is. Clifton. He's not in last. Oh, good guy.
Really?
Anyways. Yeah, he's not in last.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's gumption. That shows gumption. You know what I say to that guy? I say that he deserves a tank.
Give him a tank.
But tank, though, so he can be on the Boston City Council.
But tank, though.
And every week we say that's your epoch, but Tankto, I don't know, I'm confused. Oh my god. Daylight savings time, it fucked me up.
To rather just take the time of like having to do the math in my head of like looking at the clock and like having to adjust it like an hour in my head rather than just go over to the wall, pull it off the wall, move the clock an hour, and then put it back on the wall.
Joel Richards
bursting up in my ass, up in my crack.